an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
I recently posted about the fact I'm 26 years old and I'm in $95,487.73 worth of debt, and I want to talk about it. Up until 24 hours ago, I did not know that was actually the total of all of my debt, credit cards, and student loans. That number also does not include my auto loan, and if we are adding in my auto loan, the total number is $110,938.83. Since totaling up all of my debt, I don't think I've actually gotten one good breath of oxygen in the last 24 hours. I feel like there is an elephant sitting on my chest, and I don't think I can sit still because all I keep repeating is $95,487.73. All of this debt was racked up through decisions I made between the ages of 18 and 26. My first associate's degree I got from a community college and I didn't have to pay for because of the Pell Grant, but I decided to go to a university and got my bachelor's degree, which is where I really started to rack up the debt. Then in the last 2 years, I decided to finish a nursing degree at a community college in the last 2 years, but that's where I started to rack up even more debt. What really sucks is realizing that the majority of these student loans is not from tuition. It's actually from living expenses and living way above my means. My debt comprises of 2 credit cards, 5 federal student loans, and 5 private Sallie Mae loans. I can handle the federal student loans, but when I tell you Sallie Mae is bending me over and not in a way I like, it's actually insane. Sallie Mae is genuinely evil and they prey on young students. And the reason why they take advantage of young students is because they know if you're reaching out to a private loan like that, you genuinely need it. Out of the 5 Sallie Mae loans I have, one of the interest rates that is the highest is 16.28%. The lowest interest rate I have with Sallie Mae is 9.88%. Now, my federal student loans are between 4 and 6%, which I think is manageable. Although I had parents who would tell me what I should or shouldn't do, I never had anybody really sit me down and fully teach me financial literacy. I never had anybody sit me down and really explain to me the scope of what I was doing and what it would look like in the future when I had to pay for it. In the moment, all of the student loans just felt like fake money because they just kept coming and I just kept spending. I don't regret any of the experiences I've had between the ages of 18 and 26 or any of the things that I've done, but I do wish that I managed my finances way better than this. I think what's even more sad is a lot of these student loans were going to rent, which my rent was around $1,200 a month, and that's been consistent over the last 2-3 years. Thankfully, I do have a finance bro as a boyfriend, and he is really great at managing money and managing wealth, and so I am working with him to do a snowball effect. If I snowball all of my loans at the current rates that they are without consolidating them, I can pay all of this off by 2032. It's really sad because I'm excited about starting my first nursing job next month, but at the same time, I know that all of the money I'm making is going to debt. I'm turning 27 this year, and I wish I could be thinking about starting a family or getting married or buying a house, but really, I can't think about anything but paying off this debt. The last thing I would want to do is bring a child into this world while I have debt hanging over my head. So it almost feels like my life is kind of on hold right now, but I feel like it's even more motivation to just pay this off as quickly as possible. It is what it is. What's done is done. And at the end of the day, if you are in your early 20s and you're thinking about taking out student loans, I urge you to reconsider and ask yourself whether or not you really truly need it. If I knew then what I know now, I would tell myself that no experience, no desire, no want is worth the stress that I feel now.
Yeah, man. Girl, you better go have them kids, because whether you like it or not, you're gonna be in debt with or without the kids. So once you pay off all the debt, now you having kids in your 30s, and then what? I mean, are you willing to, you want to experience life with your kids as teenagers in your 40s, or do you want to wait until you're 50 and then experiencing it? Because it's much worse in your 50s. Anyway, I got a slew of kids, and I had hella debt. Like, I think my school debt, one of them is $20,000. I paid off one debt, and I've actually paid off 2, and I only owe I think 20 more thousand for my my bachelor's degree. Most of my 2-year degree, my associate's degree, was Pell Grants and grants and stuff like that. And even then, I was still able to apply for so many loans. Not loans, but grants. I was getting so much money in while I was getting my 2-year education that I just continued to go to school because I can continue to file for grants and I'll get 500 here, 1,000 here, 2,000 here, and I'm just like, now being able to pay my bills because I wasn't making a lot of money at work, so those lump sums helped a lot when it came to certain things, and it was always on time. God, he always on time. The snowball thing, I think, is a great idea for credit cards, but I think your debt is so high that by the time you get to paying that, you'll be paying $500 a month to your student loans, and it's not gonna pay it off no faster. So just snowball your regular debt, and then you can, focus on that big debt later in life when you can pay for it. Because matter of fact, I'm gonna just tell you, this is why I don't believe in paying off student loan debt. I starved them out of student loan debt and payments to the fact that the first one I paid off, I paid just over the actual amount of the debt. Or just under, not just over, just under. So all those interest and fees and penalties and all that, going out the window. I say, look, y'all can take the money or not. Because I'll go to the next one and pay the next one. And they're like, okay, we'll take it. I said, good. Bam. Got that one out of there. The one after that, I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. I got other stuff I could pay off if y'all don't want to do it. They're like, we'll take the money, okay? So I believe that's one of the best ways to do it, is if to save your money. Mind you, if you're paying, so this is what I want people to understand. If you paying money in credit card debts, I have a loan, a home loan, car loan, 2 car loans, a home loan, and credit card bills. So on one credit card, I'm snowballing the credit cards, mind you, snowballing them. One, I'm up to like 500 because I got a couple of them paid off pretty fast. So the next one's up to 500. And once that one gets paid off, so then that next bill goes into the next one plus it. So I mean, I'm paying them off fast. So I'm actually excited that I pay one off this month because I just paid off. I paid off two credit cards from buying furniture. People, when I bought a house, I had to open up a credit card here, open up a credit card there, put all my TVs on another credit card, put this on a credit card. And I was like, all right, don't worry, just because having the cash is fine, but if you want to spend all that cash, I'm like, no. So same thing with my car payment. I'm not making the bare minimum. I'm trying to get that mug paid off. So now I'm ahead 3 months, but everything I put over is going into the principal, getting that out the way. So a lot of people, y'all think about just paying off debt. When you look at that number, it hurt. You're like, hell no. You can't look at that number. You got to put something, you got to put more than what you can. You can do minimums on a few, but even if you do $5 over that minimum, eventually when you catch up, you're gonna be way past that $5. But don't change your amount just because your minimum go down. Don't change your amount to a lower amount. Like one of my bills be like $29, but I still pay $75 on it because I started off paying $75 on it. Now it's down to $29, and so because the interest is about, when they do the interest, you get about $13 of that $29, and the rest is going to principal plus the extra $40 that you $46. That's all going to principal. So you see it go away fast because then that interest hit again next month, and you be like, damn. And then also, yeah, student loans. Some of y'all want them, some of y'all don't. I got a friend who went to college, got his master's degree, not one student loan, so it can be done. You just gotta have the grades.
I'm 35 years old and in $169,292.74 of debt, and I still live at home with my parents. And you might as well bump that up to $266,722.97 in debt if you add in how much I will pay in interest. I started aggressively looking at my debt in January and truly didn't know the full financial picture until I got it all down on paper. Debts include 2 private student loans, 10 federal student loans, 1 auto loan, 1 private loan, and 13 credit cards. I've already taken some drastic measures to reduce spending and start side hustling. I started posting my debt payoff journey here on TikTok in hopes of growing and getting into the creator fund. So if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching and following. I'm selling my debt tracking template. I'm door dashing, donating plasma, selling items around the house, and doing TikTok shop to try and make a dent. I made some really good progress so far thanks to an annual bonus I got from my 9-to-5 job, but I've got a long way to go. I've been able to negotiate most of my interest rates on my credit cards down with the help of a debt management plan, but the interest on my student loans is wild. My 2 private student loans have interest rates of 12.75% and 8.9%, while my federal loans range from 5.8 to 6.6%. The private student loans are from my undergraduate degree, which I earned over 15 years ago. I would probably puke if I knew how much I had already paid. And to this day, I think about all the frivolous things I bought and did when I was in my teens and 20s with this money, and wow, if I would have known I would be paying for tank tops and fun nights out at bars 1,000 times over the next 15 years, I might have made some different choices. Even though I've already paid off about $31,000 of debt so far this year, I'm still not looking at being debt-free until 2040. I honestly cannot imagine another 15 years of paying on this debt, especially with so many other life milestones I want to achieve, like buying a house and having kids. I also just got engaged, and it truly makes me sick thinking about how I am bringing more than $150,000 of debt into our marriage starting out. This is not a video to complain by any means because these were my own choices and I'm working to pay back what I owe, but I hope sharing this can resonate with others, and if you want to follow along on the journey and like and follow and share and all that fun stuff, that would be great.
Man, if I'm in debt, I'm not following nobody else who's in debt because I'm not gonna be happy. And in fact, y'all gonna be making money off of her, or she's gonna be making money off of y'all watching her debt struggle. And if you don't understand debt, then don't do it. I can give you one pointer. If you have a 401k and if you have a 401k, right, and it's vested or whatever the case may be, use that to pay off the lump sum of your debt, and don't spend the money again. The reason why I say use your 401k to pay off that much debt, the reason I say you do that is because the amount of interest you will be paying on these credit cards is way higher than what you wouldn't. So take that loan from your 401k, pay off all your credit card debt, then you'll be paying back what, $100 a month? That's way better than paying $400, $500, $600 a month in credit card debt. And then once you have the bulk of those credit cards paid off, then you put that money that you was paying on the credit cards back into one of the credit cards, put some in a money market account, gain interest on that. So you can actually start a money market account with the money that you get from your 401k. So you already have that fixed that money in there. Keep that in there. Then start putting money into these other accounts. I'm telling you, it's gonna save you so much money. You will not even understand what I'm saying. It's gonna save you so much money. So a lot. She's a RN. If she's smart and she's 35, she's been paying into her a 401k all this time. Use it. Don't lose it. Don't worry about it later. Get it out the way. You don't want to go broke, or you don't want to stay. You don't want to stay in constant debt, paying these high interest rates and stuff like that. You don't want to do it. So the best thing you could do is use that 401k and pay off some of that stuff. Especially if you want to get ahead. If you want to get ahead real quick, I suggest you do that. And don't go spend it on Christmas. Don't go, buying jewelry or anything. Pay the most on those credit cards. Pay the most credit cards that you have, and then use those payments, what your last payment was, and roll it over into the next one, and then you'll start to see them. You'll start to see them snowball faster. But don't sit there and struggle in debt, and you got a 401k. Take that penalty and get it out the way. Because that money is not. That's not real money. In fact, I have an IRA that has plenty of money, and if push come to shove, and I find myself in a spot, I'm taking everything out, putting it in paying off all my debt, because I'd rather take the penalty and pay the taxes on it versus, be paying this interest rate and I'm in a financial bind. It's just not gonna happen.
And to the lady that owes $264,000 worth of debt, live your life, girl. Live your life. That debt gonna be here to you, dead and gone, sugar. Live your life. I'm not saying go out there and be irresponsible and get yourself into any more debt. But what I am saying is this: do not deprive yourself of living your life, going places, eating out, vacation, doing this and doing whatever it is that makes you happy to do. Do not deprive yourself just because you're in some sort of debt. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm talking to me because I owe $200,000 debt, $269,000 to be exact, or whatever. But that's neither here nor there. But I say all that to say this: some people, they think like, they getting into all this, that, or whatever, student loans, whatever the case may be, and now it's like, oh, I can't do this, or I shouldn't do this, and I shouldn't do that. You should still live your life and do it how you want to do it, because the bills isn't going to be here no matter what. The debt is going to be here no matter what, even after you're dead and gone. So live your life and do what you need to do that makes you happy or whatever. Don't, deprive yourself just because you got all these bills or whatever. Don't do that. Still be responsible, but don't deprive yourself just because you have a lot of debt. Because I know I'm not. Baby, I'm living my best life. Do you hear me? And is. And that's why I say I suggest you do the same thing. Because that's what I'm talking about, me. Now. Okay? So, I don't know what y'all think.
What I think is she's right, and one thing that a lot of people aren't saying is that the debt that you have, that debt that she has, is probably her house, for one. Okay, so I got a house. I got about probably around 20,000 in debt from cars, another 20 for student loans. So, probably another 15 from credit cards, because again, like I said, I just furnished the whole house, so that was like, but then I look at it and I'm like, all right, so I should just take, like I said, you just gotta do what I'm still living life. I'm still traveling. I'm not letting what the debt that I have be like, oh, it's too overwhelming. You do see me working all the time, though. You see me drop a goddamn YouTube video every day, okay? And I go to work every day. You gonna see that, okay? That's what you gonna see, okay? It ain't like I'm just sitting here wallowing in my sorrows, be like, oh, I'm gonna go drinking, I'm gonna go party, I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna figure it out. But I'm not gonna let it stop me from doing what I need to do. This is on, mind you, prior to me buying a house, my debt was only, wasn't a lot. I paid off a lot of debt prior to buying this house. So the debt that I consumed is so new that this debt is so new that it didn't hurt my credit. The amount of debt to unused debt was like boom, but now it's like too soon. It's gonna be back down. So don't take it as, and it's a house. I think a lot of people need to take their house out of this. If you got a house, you're gonna have to rent somewhere, so you're gonna pay that. I wouldn't take that as a bad debt. So don't worry about that, but don't go buy a new car at the same time. Don't buy a new car. Bro, she saved 400,000. Bro, credit. 5,000. How you get a $14,000 credit card? That's probably $15,000 credit card. Another $20,000 credit card. See, you know what? Them people, them credit gurus, and during the pandemic got y'all fucked up with all this credit and these hot. Wait, 20,000. Wait, what was 20? Current balance. Oh damn. I don't know what this is. That's probably a car loan. That's a car loan for 19,000. Okay, you gotta have that. An unsecured loan. That seems like it's a student loan. This is a house at 229,000. That's a house. Okay, I get that. Another. Oh, well, I don't know what the. She must have 2 buildings because that's okay. That makes sense. So she has a house, plus she probably has a rental property. That's not that bad, okay? Unless the 279 is something else. This or 229. The 229 seems like it's a house or a major commercial building or something. I wouldn't be too mad about this because she has this plus she has a mortgage. So she either has this as a house or the other one. Either way, one of them is creating income. That's not bad debt. It's not a bad debt to have. Okay, that's absolutely not a bad debt to have. So I could see why she would have these high ass credit card spending limits. And $39,000 in student loans is not bad at all. So yeah, shout out to this lady. I don't know, Bobby Bo. Let's see here.
How much debt I've racked up since getting. I thought it would be funny to show y'all how much debt I've racked up since getting fired in September and being unemployed for the last 9 months. It's pretty bad. I only have 3 cards and I've maxed out majority of them. So here's one credit card. Here's my second, which is maxed out and actually over, interestingly enough.
This is bad right here. And she got a smoke alarm that she need to change the battery on. This is actually bad. This is bad debt. That saver card probably that's usually a starter card, or if you have multiple Capital One cards, they'll get you a saver. I think those have annual percentage rates, or not, or they either have one-time fees, yearly fees. Sometimes credit cards charge you a yearly fee every month, so it just depends. Like some could charge you five dollars a month instead of charging you $60 at the end of the year. Or they could just charge you one time $50 a year. Some have $75. Some of them have annual percentage rates where how much you're carrying over annually is about how much you'll pay in interest per year. So yeah, this is bad. When you over, that's bad. But the other thing that is not so bad is that when she went over, once she starts to pay that off, if she pays it off fast, she'll get to keep that credit. But they could start dwindling. As she starts to pay it off, they'll start to lower her amount. So it's making it as if she doesn't even have more credit. So it's going to keep her credit limit high, because every time she pays some of it off, they're going to lower her credit limit. That's what's about to happen to that, and that's unfortunate because you shouldn't do that. Amazon did that to me, which was crazy because I don't have bad credit and I've always paid my bills on time. They closed my JCPenney card, which I didn't owe anything on the JCPenney card. They closed that, I had a Amazon card and a Lowe's card. But as soon as I paid off the Lowe's card, they cut it off. Paid off the JCPenney's card, cut it off. I was like, Amazon's finna do the same thing. As I started to pay that mug off, they started lowering my credit limit, so it made it look like I had a high balance. So even when I was going to get a home loan, they was like, well, why does this one have a high balance and the credit card is only $200? I said, because every time I pay it off, every time I pay the payment, they lower it up. They lower the amount. So it started at like 1,000, and so as I was just paying them debts off, she was like, well, why don't you just pay it off? I was like, I don't know, like I'm kind of frustrated that they even, doing that, and I've never been behind. So, that's a bad situation. But then turned around and gave me 2 more credit cards. The same bank turned around and gave me 2 more credit cards for furniture. Like, all this was happening in the last 2 years, and they gave me a lot. So it's kind of weird, and I still like those credit cards. Those are the 2 I already paid off. I got them out the way because I was like, oh, I'm not dealing with them.
Same for this one. Yep. That's me. Meaning that's a whopping $11,632.98. By the way, I'm 23. So there's that.
Today we're going to talk about how much debt I'm in as a 29-year-old doctor. First things first, student loans. So in student loans, I currently owe $282,256. And that's after going to a state school and with no debt from undergrad. That's all medical school. So that's why you shouldn't be a doctor just for the money, because it's so much debt. Next, my mortgage, I currently owe $240,945. That's a 30-year fixed loan. I'm probably not gonna pay that off for a while. And then in credit cards, I owe $5,006 across 4 different cards. Bringing my total debt, drum roll please, to $528,207. Yeah. Seeing that number makes me realize, like, I'm probably going to have a negative net worth, like, till I'm at least 40. And it is what it is.
Yeah, that's not as much bad debt. And she didn't even say about her car loan, if she has one, because her being a doctor, you know what they do? I make a lot of money. I can buy me a Mercedes. You know that come with a hefty price tag, okay? So, yeah, unless she's saying, hey, I don't need to buy a Mercedes right now. Let me take what I will pay in a car payment and put it on these loans. Mind you, not too much bad debt to have. Not too much bad. And there's so many ways to get out of debt faster. Her being a doctor is probably in the best interest of her, because sooner or later she'll make the really decent money, 6 figures, almost in the next, very soon. So she's also married. Now, if you have a spouse that understands the debt that you're in and can help you out, they bought a big ass house. So she doesn't own that debt to herself because she's also married. Now, I don't know if they got married and bought the house, or did she buy the house prior to marriage. What I do know is her living with him, or vice versa, however the living rate, them sharing and either going 50-50, or he paying all the bills, or whatever the case may be, she will have a better chance at paying off all that debt. What I would not suggest, though, is dating a person in major financial debt and helping them relieve that debt, because one, they're gonna be toxic. 2, if you take all the bills and that person gets out of debt and they leave you, Oh, you gonna think they living their best life, cause they gonna be doing everything debt free, and you just help that person get out of debt. And I know so many people that have been in relationships like that where they help the person get out of debt, or get off probation and get some other stuff handled and all this stuff, and then as soon as they get where they need to be, oh, I'm financially free, I'm about to turn up. How you looking crazy?
But I have been financially not doing great. I am a nurse. Even though I am a nurse and I make good money, I don't have money, which is the sad part because of the choices that I've made still currently and the choices that I've made like previously, like from a couple of years. I am in credit card debt, and it's this unhealthy cycle that I have been putting myself into, and this just relationship with money has just never been something that I was talked about. Lifestyle creep is definitely a thing, and especially when you are trying to make a brand for yourself, when you're aspiring to do something that you want to do, and content creation has been something that I've always wanted to do. Being a YouTuber has always been something I want to do. I've always just wanted to be on camera. I've always just wanted to make a name for myself, whether it be like through content creation, being a YouTuber, being an entrepreneur, like whatever it may be. I always felt like I was meant to do something other than nursing. And so I think for years I have been continuously like, going with the trends and like, buying whatever everyone else buys so that like I can post about it and like, be seen. But then I get caught up with imposter syndrome of not being enough. In order for me to become someone, I guess I was influenced by everyone else around me. So if I bought the next best thing, or if I like looked a certain way by buying these clothes, then I was gonna make an image, a brand for myself. And that turned into like so many like dumb purchases like along the way that I'm like literally paying for now. And don't get me wrong, I have been trying to get myself together when it comes to my finances, because obviously like I have money to pay my bills, I have money to like pay down the minimums on my credit cards, but a lot of the times I don't take into account like, money like for myself and money to, just enjoy life. And most of the time like I'm struggling to even do that. So I think I've reached my breaking point. Enough is enough. Like living paycheck to paycheck, living with like the credit card debt and like the afterpays and everything, like I'm done. Like I'm so done. I want to be financially free. Like I don't want to have to worry about like, if I'm gonna be able to eat. I just don't want to be in this cycle anymore, because it's like I want to travel, I want to buy a house, I want to get married, like all of these things. Like it's just like it's not possible until I take this step of paying off my debt. And not just paying off my debt, but like being financially literate and just understanding you can't always have your wants. You have to prioritize like your needs. And sometimes like I rationalize like my needs, my wants, to make them seem like their needs. And I just need to get out of this toxic like mindset. Like it sucks.
Yeah, I think, shout out to this young lady, but I think what a lot of people fail to realize, first of all, the most common denominator of all these women in debt is being a nurse, okay? That's your problem, okay? Being in the medical field is going to put you in debt. But also, like, the fact that, a lot of people are turning to content creation to make some little extra money on the side. Man, y'all don't know how hard I work over here. to get some content out. Y'all, it ain't just, you know, I'm gonna do some content and I'm gonna, you know, record it and I'm gonna put it out. It's record, edit, it's trying to make it better, starting multiple pages, running the social media at the same time, answering people who message you daily, and it's just a lot. It's not the solution. It's a solution, it's not the solution. Now, when I started being a content creator, I said I'm going to do this to fund my food truck. I don't sell enough food that I can build my food truck, but I will make enough content that I could do for free that can generate me income. It's not necessarily free. There was equipment I had to buy. There's internet I had to pay for monthly. But what I said was I'm going to use that to jump ahead, and that's what I did. And eventually the content creation took a leap forward, but then my mindset of where I wanted to take my food truck went even further. So I said, okay, I make the money. I can take my business a step further. And that's what you got to do, man. Content creation is a great start, but have a plan to do something bigger. Like, you got to have a plan to do something bigger. Content creation is cool. It's a good way to make money though, but I think a lot of people think that and her $20,000 in debt is credit card debt. It's not as bad as you would think. But like I said, she just has to find a second stream of income, use that stream of income to fund another business, also pay down those credit cards. Once you get that stuff out of there, don't get into debt. You know what a lot of people did? A lot of people during the pandemic was building their credit, getting all these credit cards, building $20,000, $30,000 in credit card. I know because I was doing it too. But what I didn't do was go and spend $20,000 on some BS. Or I didn't. I just let it sit. And it always sat. And then whenever it was time to buy a house, the balance was so low that it was permissible that I would get it paid off in the right amount of time. I'm talking about when I paid off my house, I think $15,000 went towards my down payment, and only like 6 or 7 went to, you know, credit cards and stuff. And these credit cards, it wasn't like 3 credit cards. We're talking about like 10 credit cards. I had so many checks to write, you know, 300 here, 400 here, 700 here. Like, it was a bunch, you know, it was a bunch. So just saying, it doesn't have to be credit card debt that can have you in a bind, but, you know, just debt in general kind of make you feel some type of way. But if you understand what good debt and bad debt is, you'll feel much better about it. A car, not good debt. A house, good debt. Anyway, everyday people, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll holler at you later. Peace.